Seekers, I'm Nick. Now, I've been wanting to cover some more TRX40 boards since basically 3rd gen Threadripper came out, but the boards have been kind of hard to get our hands onto until now. We've got one of these guys, the Creator TRX40 from MSI. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try and keep this video as short and as sweet as possible and take a little bit of a look at this beast that supports the 64-core 3990X. So let's get into it. Now these motherboard videos, they're not reviews. I just want to make that clear from the beginning. They're just overviews so you can get an idea of what comes in the box when you buy a brand new motherboard. Now I'm not going to be covering VRM analysis or thermals or anything like that because that's just not what we do around here. However, we will have a build coming with this board in the next week or so, so stay tuned for that. I think we're going to use the 3970X because obviously we don't have a 3990X. And in Australia, how much do they cost, Claire? Like 6,000 Australian dollars or something crazy like that? Yeah, so we're probably, we might never get our hands on one, but let's cross our fingers. But for now, yeah, let's dive in and take a quick look at the MSI Creator TRX40. Alright, let's take a look at MSI's Creator TRX40 for content creation workstations. Well, that's who this is basically targeted towards. Okay, let's get the first stuff out of the box and take a look what's under this flap. Look, there's a flap here, and there's nothing under the flap. Time to open the second flap. Are you ready for flap number 2, ladies and gentlemen? Here we go. Ooh, what's this? This is the MSI Aero PCIe expansion card. Now, the reason you would use this would be to add extra M.2 storage and more specifically PCIe Gen 4 M.2 storage to your system. Very, very nice that they included that with this motherboard. Next up, we've got this, a true gaming badge. Now, this doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me, considering the name of the board is the Creator TRX40, not the Gaming TRX40. Okay, anyway, let's move right along. We've got the true gaming pamphlet. Again, doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but it's okay. We'll forgive them for this, because this board's pretty cool. Okay, let's move on. Let's see what else we got in here. We also have this. A thank you for purchasing an MSI product. Now this is basically a registration card so you can register your brand new motherboard. There's also a bunch of stickers for your SATA drives or your SATA drives, sorry, but that's how I pronounce it in Australia. Yeah, basically this is so you can label them so you know what they are when you plug them in. The next up, we've got this. This is the quick installation guide. Now, the funniest thing I found with this quick installation guide is it doesn't actually say or mention anything to do with the TRX40 boards or the STR4X socket. So yeah, interesting inclusion here from MSI. All right, next up is the user guide or the user manual. This will basically explain everything you need to know about the board in regards to the BIOS and overclocking and all of that stuff. All right, here we go. Flap number 3, what do we got? We've got a fabric bag. I wonder what's in here. Let's take a bit of a closer look. Ooh, cables. All right, let's see. First up, we've got some thermal probes. These basically will tell you how hot something is in certain parts of your system if you want to set them up that way. We've got some SATA or SATA cables for your spinning rust or your 2.5-inch SSDs. We've also got an array of RGB cables. So there's a Corsair lighting connector, a normal 3-pin addressable RGB connector, and a 4-pin 12-volt splitter. And last but not least is the Wi-Fi antenna for the built-in Wi-Fi 6 and Bluetooth 5.0. Okay, let's get the motherboard out so we can take a little bit of a closer look. Out of the box it comes. Let's slide it out of that plastic. Let's take a closer look at the Creator TRX40. First up, we've got the front panel audio connector. There's a 12-volt RGB connector and a 5-volt addressable RGB connector. There's also connectors for those thermal probes. There's 4 PWM fan connectors. It's got a lot of connectivity when it comes to fans on this motherboard. There's also a TPM connector in case you wanted to put a trusted platform module inside of your system. There's the front panel connector for all your lights and all your wires for your case. There's also 2 USB 2.0 connectors, which is useful for things like AIOs. And there's also a reset and a power button, as well as another PWM fan connector. There's also a diagnostic screen and another 5-volt addressable RGB header. Next up, up, we have the SATA connectors. Now, this is for your 2.5-inch SSDs or your spinning rush drives, depending on what you want to plug into them. There's some USB 3 headers. There's 2 of them, and they're right-angled the way that I like them. There's also a USB Type-C header. There's a 24-pin power connector to send all of that juice to your brand new Creator TRX40. There's also a Corsair lighting connector for the addressable RGB and for Corsair lighting products. There's also 2 more PWM fan connectors. Like I said, you can plug lots of fans into this board. There's also 2 8-pin EPS power connectors for your CPU, because this board does support the 3990X, which is the 64-core monster, as well as 2 more PWM fan connectors for your CPU fan and your AIO pump. There's also 4 PCIe slots. They're full size, but the top one is a x16. The next one down is a by 8. The next one down is a by 16. And last but not least, another by 8 slot. Now, because this motherboard uses the TRX40 chipset, it does have an actively cooled chipset with this little Frozer fan from MSI. And there's me spinning it like an idiot. Right, next up we're going to do is take off the heat sinks for the M.2 slots. It's got 3 in total and 1 odd placed one along near the 24-pin power connector, and obviously there's 2 more down towards the bottom of the board. That's a lot of built-in M.2 connectivity. Yeah, and again, here is the one that is closest to the RAM slots, which I thought was an interesting placement for it, but not ultimately a bad thing. The Creator TRX40 also features a 16-phase VRM for powering the mighty 64-core 3990X. And as you can see here, the heatsink for the actual VRMs are connected via a heat pipe to another heatsink on the I/O cover. It's very, very nice, a very elegant design. Because this MSI board is a TRX40 board, it only supports 3rd gen Threadripper CPUs. So that's the 3960X, 3970X, and the 3990X 64-core monster. And it also supports quad channel memory as well. On the back of the I/O shield, we have a clear CMOS button, a BIOS flashback button. We have the antenna connectors for the Wi-Fi 6. There's plenty of USB connectivity on the back as well. It also features 10 gigabit Ethernet built in as well. There's also some USB 3.2 and 7.1 digital surround sound with an integrated I/O shield. But yeah, let's do that B-roll thing. Here we go. Hope you guys enjoyed that little bit of a look at the MSI Creator TRX40. It's a very nice board. Now this board is designed specifically for content creation, which is what I would recommend using it for. So that 10 gig Ethernet I think is also quite a nice addition. That MSI Aero card for the additional M.2 drives is also pretty cool. Now, the thing is with this board, it does not come cheap. So in the US, it's coming in at around $699 US or around 1,250 Australian dollars. As far as TRX40 boards are concerned, that's on the high end of the pricing. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. We don't know how the board's going to perform or anything like that. We've only had the board for like a day or so, but yeah, I had to give it the Gear Seekers treatment. Now, if you guys enjoyed the music, which I know someone's going to ask about, I make all the music here on the channel, and you can grab it on our Patreon, and soon you'll be able to grab it on our FLOATPLANE as well. Anyways guys, if you liked the video, you know what to do, and hit that like button or subscribe if you want to, if you haven't yet, if you think we're worth subscribing to. Also, if you want to support the channel, we have a join button down there somewhere near the subscription button, or you can join us on FLOATPLANE as well. And if you didn't like this video, you know what to do, and tell us what you hated about it. Once again, thank you so very much for watching. I'm your boy Nick with Gear Seekers. You peek, we seek. If you guys have been following our socials, you would know that we have a review of the brand new 2020 Toyota Supra coming very, very soon. It's going to be our first car video on the channel. It's not going to be a car review because I'm not a car reviewer, so I don't think it's very fair for me to be able to do that. But from a car enthusiast perspective and someone who's not biased towards any type of cars, I think you guys are going to enjoy what we've got in store. Thanks for watching.